Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Big Frog's 4x4. Today we're going to put a lift kit on a Toyota Tacoma TRD. Alright, we're going to be installing a lift kit by Ready Lift. Let's see what they got us. Paperwork, stickers, Alright, the lift we're going to be installing today is a front leveling spacer and rear lift blocks. The lift comes with all the hardware, mounts, and everything that you need. New U-bolts. Alright, first step, remove both your front wheels, 21 millimeter. Alright, next you want to remove both sides of your sway bar links, and that's a 17 millimeter. I sprayed a little bit of lubricant on these threads just to make sure everything comes off easier. Next you want to remove your lower strut mount bolt. You want to loosen and remove all three of your upper strut bolts. They're 14 millimeter. Well, we run into our first problem with the instructions. For one, the sway bar link connection is not the same as what's in the instructions. And nowhere does it tell you to remove the axle, separate the ball joint, or anything. It has you remove the tire, remove the sway bar link, remove your upper and lower strut bolts, and remove the strut. Well, that isn't even possible in this truck. You raise it up, go get the strut out, and it's going to hit the axle bolt, or axle boot. Even if you pry down on it, try to get the strut out, you're still hitting the axle boot. Or you're going to have to disconnect your lower ball joint so you can swing this all to the left, swing it that direction, away from your strut mount to get this out of place. Alright, what I'm going to try is removing the pin in this nut and separating the upper arm from the joint here. Smack with the hammer here, pop it apart, and then this can fold up. We can kind of push this to the side to get the axle to clear down here at the bottom, and should be able to get the strut out that way. And to remove this nut is a 19 millimeter. Now you want to leave this nut on. For one, if you happen to miss, you don't mess the threads up. And two, when this drops down or jumps up, it doesn't come all flying apart. You're going to want a pretty decent sized hammer. That way it just jars it. There, now you can see it popped. If you can't get a good swing at it, turn the wheel, and that way you can hit it here in this flat spot. You're also going to want to disconnect your ABS wire here, 10 millimeter. And I don't like the tension hanging. It's not real tight, but there's tension on this hose. I don't like that much tension on there, so I'm gonna pull this back with a bungee cord. Just take some of that tension off. 14 millimeter, just remove both of these bolts on both sides. Alright, now completely removing the sway bar, onboarding it at the front and here at the knuckle does give you enough room then to get your strut out without damaging your axle boot. Alright, now you want to install the strut spacer on the top of your original strut. I like to put Loctite on any suspension parts. So I just put a little bit on. Then put your spacer on. And put your original factory hardware on. Alright, now you want to install the strut the same way you removed it. If you have an extra person to help you with this, it would probably be a big help. Because then you can have them hold up on your arm while you drop this in. And you push down on your lower arm while you're putting it straight into place. And just bolt it in. Now keep in mind, because of that strut spacer, your struts are 180 degree rotated. Before, the sticker on the strut faced this way, and it rotates 180 degrees because of that spacer on top. The lift comes with new hardware for the top nuts. Once again, make sure you put a little bit of Loctite on. Suspension sees a lot of vibration, so it's always a good idea to use some Loctite on any part of the suspension. Brake hardware, any of that kind of stuff, I like to put Loctite on because it sees a lot of vibration and you don't want anything working loose. Just got to get down far enough where you can get your strut or get your nut back on. So getting the strut in with the spacer on top deemed to be pretty difficult. You're definitely going to take 2 people to do it. I put a pry bar underneath the top of the strut up here and pried down on the upper A-arm and up on the strut spring, which then I was able to get the holder line up for the lower mounting bolt. So it's 2 people. You're going to have to get everything lined up, take some patience and get it done. Alright, now remove your skid plate, 12 millimeter. .22 millimeter. Okay, remove your original hardware. And you want to install the spacer and the hardware that comes in the kit. As long as you only loosen this side, do not completely remove it. Make sure plenty of the bolt is still stuck in the nut. You don't have to worry about supporting the whole differential. There's enough room to then slide the spacer in and install the new bolt and hardware. All the way up through. These are a lock nut, nylon lock nut that comes from the manufacturer. And now you can drop the other side down. Alright, this is a 22mm nut on top, and you need a wrench for that, and it's a 21mm bolt. Alright, to put your front skid plate back on, there's two metal tabs that stick out at the front that go through holes at the front of the skid plate. You can slide that onto them. Now you want to use your new hardware and spacers for each side of the skid plate that's underneath the engine. Slide your bolt through and the spacer. Start that on by hand. Then install the other side. Install both your front ones. $13mm.